This video contains some mature themes and jokes, and I use the word mature very, very loosely. So maybe don't watch this one with your kids. Or do. I can't stop you. Do whatever you want. It's Christmas. But whatever you do, enjoy the video. Free stuff for me. Free stuff for me. Oh. I mean, oh ho ho ho! It is me, the real and legit Santa Claus. This has been recalled. Yes, recalled. The elves told me it's got to go back. It's got to go back to the factory or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, hi. I didn't know this camera was on. Kind of awkward. What's this? Oh, Rudolph sneezed on me. Don't worry about that. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't worry. I know. I can entertain you with a story. A heartwarming Christmas tale. So grab your favorite beverage and snack, sit back and relax as I tell you the heartwarming tale of how a grumpy old man suddenly becomes festive after being visited by 3 patronizing ghosts. Grumble, I hate Christmas. Christmas cards are dumb. Back in my day, games were complete on launch and you could afford housing. What is that?
It is I, the ghost of Christmas previous.
Oh no, what are you doing in my... Wait, did you just say ghost of Christmas previous? Don't you mean ghost of Christmas past?
No, this is a similar, but legally distinct story from the other one, so I am the ghost of Christmas previous.
Okay, we'll come back to the name thing, but why are you in my house and why do you look exactly like me? You're even wearing the same clothes. That just seems lazy.
Oh, don't lie, this isn't your house. You still live with your parents at 34 years old. Kind of a loser. And I look exactly like you because you have no friends to record on such short a notice. Definitely a loser.
Well, that's not very...
Loser.
Alright, okay, fine. Why are you here? I'm sure you have some amazing message to teach me.
Yes, today I'm going to make you look back on your history.
My past.
Yes, as I said, your history. More specifically, the last year of your history. Together we're going to take a look back on the year just gone. We're going to look at some of the biggest game releases, some of the best videos, and some of the other highlights of 2024.
Okay, I guess. You know, this really wasn't a bad year for horror theories. We started off the year with a bang with the big release Poppy Playtime Chapter 3. Now I personally had been looking forward to this one a lot. Not only because Poppy Playtime is the current hot game to milk for content, but also because I genuinely do enjoy this series. As silly as it can be, this game is one of the most interesting ones to theorize over, and it's also got what a lot of indie horror games seem to be lacking these days, the creepy factor. But of course, it'd also been a pretty long break between chapters 2 and 3. While chapter 3 had promised to be the best chapter in the series yet, it was supposedly going to be longer, scarier, and darker than ever. Well, that was definitely true, so true that the devs had to release a patch making the game brighter. But all jokes aside, I really did enjoy chapter 3. It did have flaws, some sections weren't as fun as others, and I really did wish that we had toys roaming around the earlier areas to avoid. But generally, the chapter was incredibly fun to play. It showed that this series is a lot more complicated than we thought, and while it didn't have quite as many answers as I was hoping, it did hint towards a lot of the theories we'd already been discussing. But the most shocking part of chapter 3 was easily the ending. After finally getting to see this game's event, the downfall of the factory known as the Hour of Joy, we left Kissy behind as we rode the elevator down to the depths with Poppy. But just as she was going to tell us a big secret, something attacked Kissy. Now I already made a whole video about this shortly after the game's release, but this part got me very excited. Not only does the attack sound exactly like when Huggy grabs you in chapter 1, but the attack shocks Poppy, almost as if this bigger body is one she didn't account for. Maybe because she didn't know that Huggy climbed back up in chapter 2? Chapter 3 also teased potential future games, possibly even showing off other Playtime co-locations that they could take place in. All in all, it was a pretty great start to the year, but chapter 3 wouldn't be the only thing to release. In January, we also saw Shipwreck 64, a Nintendo 64 inspired horror game, and one of the many games I missed this year. I'm sorry, you released in the same month as Poppy and Palworld. What was I supposed to do? In April, we got something very different. As a teaser to the upcoming Bendy 3, we got Bendy Secrets of the Machine. Now I feel like this game passed under a lot of people's radars, which is kind of a shame since it was a very interesting little experience. The game was set up as a loop. Each time you hit an ending or die, you had to restart over, but each run had something a little different. The game was also regularly updated, adding more secrets to find. For a free teaser, it was a lot of fun, and honestly it made me more excited for Bendy 3, so good job. Now April was a great month for me since it was the month where I really brought back playthroughs on the second channel. Playthroughs are something I'm not so good at as theories, but I find them a lot of fun, so it was great to bring them back, and what a game to pull me back in. Sucker for Love Date to Die For might at first seem like nothing more than a dating sim, but the story genuinely surprised me. There was far more lore here than I was expecting, and the story was so well told that honestly the thirsty content was mostly an afterthought. But on top of that, it even had puzzles. If you haven't seen my playthrough of this one yet, don't overlook it, it was pretty great. Now May saw another popular game that I missed, Crow Country. This one is definitely a game made for me. I love that era of horror games so much. The old Resident Evil games are still some of my favourites. Remake Dino Crisis. Another game that I missed, although to be fair I still haven't played the first game, is Dread Wait. This is the sequel to Cooking Companions, and although I don't really like visual novels, I did like Doki Doki Literature Club, so I should probably make an exception. It's probably too late to make content on now, but when I do get the chance, maybe I'll check this one out. But one game that I didn't miss, and I'm certainly glad I played, is...
Thanks for visiting Indigo Park, hope all your dreams came true.
This one was honestly such a surprise. Playing any mascot horror game these days is a gamble. Is it going to be another FNAF contender, or is it going to be Ban Ban? But Indigo Park was a game that was clearly made with love. Say what you want about the genre, but there are clearly some people who love it, and some of those people end up making their own games. While Chapter 1 might not have been the scariest game in the world, it was interesting enough to make me want to see where the story goes from here. So much so that I immediately backed Chapter 2 when it popped up on Kickstarter. But even with the success of Chapter 1, Mason, the creator, has been updating, improving, and polishing Chapter 1 to make it even better for us. That dedication is something that I think should be commended. Oh look, another game that I missed, FNAF Into the Pit. I mean, at this point you can just add it to the long list of FNAF games that I still need to play. But this is one that I think looks pretty cool. You know what, since it's Christmas, I will tell you a secret. I do eventually plan on playing through the FNAF games on the second channel. It's the one series in this genre that I just don't know enough about to make theories on, but it seems really daunting to start, especially now. But if nothing else, you guys can laugh as I get jump scared and get all the theories wrong. We'll find a quiet period next year and I'll look into it. In October, the busiest and most stressful month of the year for horror creators, we got a game I was very excited for, Amanda the Adventurer 2. The first game was yet another surprise hit, a creepy possessed VHS game with lots of puzzles. So once the second game released, I immediately jumped on it and got stuck on the first puzzle of the game. Like, really stuck. And it turns out I wasn't the only one, with one of the first patches for the game nerfing this puzzle. But once past that, the game delivered exactly what I was hoping. More puzzles, more creepy characters, and more lore. We won't talk about the fact that I haven't fully finished it yet. I told you it was a busy month. November. I remember it like it was last month. But in November we got yet another surprise hit, Finding Frankie. This game was yet another entry into an increasingly saturated genre, but this one was just a little bit different. This game contains the same DNA as any good mascot horror game: creepy abandoned location, an event that leads to the death of a child, and some contrived reason as to why the building hasn't been condemned yet. But Finding Frankie was also a bit different. It didn't hide its creepy characters, you were being chased from the start, and the game incorporated an incredibly fun parkour system to make it more interesting. But, of course, it wouldn't be a mascot horror game without a little conspiracy. Overall, I really enjoyed Finding Frankie, and I hope the lore gets expanded on in a sequel. And, well, that brings us to December. If you thought there couldn't possibly be any more releases, well, you're wrong. Joyville 2 released, a sequel to a game that I feel like most people didn't play, but one that I honestly didn't hate. Again, definitely better than Ban Ban. But I haven't had a chance to play the sequel yet. I got sick. Yes, I know, but this time it was norovirus. That's a new one for me. But in December we also got a game that I was very intrigued by, Glitched Out. This was the first game by SHB Games, the studio set up by none other than YouTuber legend Super Horror Bro. Now, looking at the art style, and you might think that this game leans more towards the bendy side of the mascot horror spectrum, and, well, you'd be right. This game is definitely wearing its inspirations on its sleeve, and I can't fault it for that. Indigo Park did the exact same thing. Now, I do have some pretty big criticisms of the game, and I do think that future chapters will need to improve if they want to be able to compete with the many, many other mascot horror games out there. But once again, this was a labour of love. The chapter was free, and in that case I'm going to view it as more of a tech demo than anything else. But I honestly didn't hate it. It was a fun way to cap off the year, and if the devs can listen to the feedback and improve chapter 2, we could have another cast of characters to add to the family. So those were some of the biggest game releases for the channels this year, but what about me? What about my videos? How have they been doing in 2024? Well, it's safe to say that I've been sticking to the quality not quantity principle this year, mostly because these videos just take so damn long to make. But while this means I have produced less videos, it does mean that I have made some of what I think are my best videos to date. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments. But which ones are the highlights? Well, let's take a look. My very first video this year was a breakdown for the final Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 trailer. This just once again proves that I talk far too much. I made an almost 30-minute video on a 2-minute trailer. I mean, to be fair, Mob do pack a ton into these trailers, so I blame them. But right after that, we got the release of Chapter 3, and that meant the very last playthroughs on this channel. While these videos were super fun for me, it was clear from my analytics that people were just not watching them all the way through. With the way YouTube works now, if people don't watch much of your video, YouTube scores it negatively, and then it shows your future uploads to less people. It kind of sucks, but this is why I had to make the hard decision to split my playthroughs onto a second channel. But at least this way, if you're not interested in gameplay, you don't have to see them. RIP my ad revenue for those ones though. But right after this, I made my mini theory for who attacked Kissy, and I still think there's a good chance it was Huggy. But next came by far my best performing video this year. The 10 things you might have missed in Chapter 3. Now these videos generally do well on my channel, depending on how popular the game is of course. Sorry, Frankie. But it actually works out really well. I really enjoy making these videos. Hunting for secrets, Easter eggs and little pieces of hidden lore is by far one of my favourite things to do. So the fact that you guys seem to enjoy these videos is literally a dream come true for me. I enjoy it so much that I even made a follow-up video to that one. Now you bet I'll be making one for Chapter 4, so keep your eyes peeled and that notification bell on for that one. But speaking of videos that I enjoy, this next one is genuinely one of my favourite theories I have ever created. The lemon theory. This whole theory was based on one thing, the lemon. This was added into Chapter 1 with the graphical update, and since then it's become a meme, appearing in every chapter since. But I asked the question, what if this was more than a meme? What if this is a subtle reference to Poppy Playtime's inspirations? Now I've always said I would rather make a fun theory that was disproven than only sticking to facts. This is why we call ourselves theorists and not fact finders. You know, honestly, I get kind of frustrated with the well actually guys, and that includes certain content creators too. I mean, look at MatPat. How many times was he wrong over the years? Does it matter? No. Sometimes the journey is just as fun as the destination, and that's exactly how I treat my theories. But it actually turns out there was a lot of weight behind this one. It turns out that the devs are absolutely taking inspiration from classic games like Portal 2. That game was one of the first to popularize using ARGs with its lore, and anyone can tell you that Portal 2 is the king of hiding creepy details in plain sight. Of all my videos this year, if there are any you missed, this is the one that I would ask you to go and watch. Trust me, it seems like a meme, but the more you watch, the more you'll be convinced. Mob Entertainment are far more inspired by Portal and maybe even Bioshock than Five Nights at Freddy's, and I proved it. Once again, my Things You Might Have Missed series was another highlight this year. My video for Indigo Park did pretty well. I was pleasantly surprised as once again this was a really fun one to make. But the biggest surprise for me this year was just how hungry you guys are. For theories of course, but for one specific game, Little Nightmares. You see, next year we're getting Little Nightmares 3 and I'm just really excited to dive back in for theories. I'm so excited in fact that one day when I had a quiet week, I decided to revisit Little Nightmares 1, and oh boy, it seems like you guys are excited too. Now if you joined my channel in the Poppy Playtime era, you might not know that I actually started my theory journey with Little Nightmares 2. Up until that point, this had been a Dead by Daylight channel. Yep, true story, but with the release of Little Nightmares 2, I just knew I had to make a video. You see, with Little Nightmares 1, I had really enjoyed some of the YouTube content on the game. Little Nightmares 1 is still to this day one of my favourite games of all time, so with the sequel, I really just wanted to make a video. I wanted to be part of that community, and so, completely out of the blue, I made a fun Little Nightmares 2 theory, and, excuse my French, but holy shit. Now it turns out the YouTube community around Little Nightmares isn't exactly welcoming to newcomers. Certain content creators in that space don't like when other people get more views than them, but it is what it is. But after so long of not making any Little Nightmares content, I didn't think you guys would be so hyped for a new Little Nightmares 1 theory, but here we are. It genuinely warmed my heart to see so many of you tune in for this video. Not only does it make me very excited for next year, we'll come on to that later, don't worry, but it's just really great that I get to cover a variety of games on this channel and keep being able to do it. As much as I really do love Poppy, I can't just cover one game. I need variety, and you guys let me. Sure, not every video is a banger, but you allow me to be creative. You don't tie me to one game, and for that, I am very, very thankful. But of course, we must come to the final theory of the year. I haven't made as many videos as I would like this year for sure. Between my terrible sleep schedule, that I've now fixed by the way, and getting sick more often than I would like, I have had to decrease my output. But I do think that my last Poppy theory of 2024 was pretty good. Of course, we are so close to chapter 4 now that I'm conserving my energy for that, but I enjoyed capping off the year with this one. So overall, I don't think it was a bad year on the channel.
So, that was your Christmas previous. How do you feel?
Alright, I guess.
Well, that's going to have to do because I'm late for the Ghost Christmas party. I hear Michael Jackson's going to haunt Disneyland again.
No, you can't make that joke. I'm going to get demonetized. You can't do that. Just keep it to murdering children in video games.
Whatever. Bye, loser. Bye, loser. Loser.
I hope that's the last haunting I have this year. Any more would be mildly inconvenient.
It is I, the ghost of Christmas present.
We're not doing this joke, are we? Really? You couldn't think of anything better? Fine.
Yes, as I was saying, I am the ghost of Christmas present. I am here to show you how the present is important too. Really, be in the moment, you know?
Okay, well since we are in the moment, a reminder to like the video if you're enjoying it, subscribe to the channel if you like horror theories, and if you really want to support and go the extra mile, I have a Patreon now. But since this segment is about the present, I'm going to give you a Christmas present. That's right, I'm going to do a current trend. Are you ready? Here is Unnecessary Censorship Tericho Edition. Why couldn't I in there? He backed up. And as always, I'm here to uncover and them for you. Now that isn't necessarily anything strange. We know that the residents of this world need and we've already seen that some of them are incredibly hungry. So sure. Oh, I guess I should probably do, you know? That's right, while Mob have been the new Poppy Playtime nightmare critters one by one, with how many dead toys we see down here, this is probably going to be the most nightmarish the factory yet. If you thought the giant toys were scary, imagine them you in complete darkness. Can I, okay, I can't the buns. Alright, I really want it, but I can't. I'm locked in. He did staff on this escape attempt, so perhaps he drew this Poppy with their blood. Number 2, Rambly is sus. Rambly the raccoon is the main mascot of Indigo Park, and he acts as the guide for Ed and the player. At first he seems to be friendly. He's very happy to be a guest in the park, especially since it's been over 8 years since the last visitor. Is Frankie Henry? Good, because I didn't like him. Get him, Frankie. The games have been implying that there are still people to be saved, and we have assumed that they've been down here. How'd you get down here? You in the basement? It's very clear that something is off about this mascot when we meet him, but what you might not know is that Frankie is you all throughout the game. After getting here, we quickly learn that the Frankie mascot is out to contestants. Except not us, for some reason. What's this? Oh, Rudolph on me. I'm sorry, but I've been primed in my life not to trust anyone wearing a long trench coat and a hat, a mask and gloves. I don't know about you, maybe that's paranoia, but that's like how to get robbed or 101. Well, wasn't that wonderful?
It was alright.
Are you supposed to be helping me?
I am just an inanimate object. If you are looking for me to help, that says a lot about your mental state, to be honest.
Next ghost, come on, next ghost.
It is I, the ghost of Christmas 2025.
You mean the ghost of Christmas future?
Ah yes, but only specifically next year. And I still couldn't be bothered to change my shirt.
Then why are you so old?
It's time to face facts, mate. You are old.
Right, I'm over this. What's your message?
Alright, Mr. Pushy Pants, I'm just doing my job here. Anyway, we're going to look at the future, the next year, all the fun things to come for you and your audience. If he can be bothered to make the videos, that is.
Now I say this without a hint of YouTuber clickbait exaggeration, but next year is going to be an insane year for us all. Of course, we start the year right away with Chapter 4 releasing in January. I for one cannot wait to see what's in store. Of course, we're going to see a bunch of new toys. Yarnaby's probably my favourite one to be revealed so far, but we might also get to see Harley Sawyer, who's being built up as one of, if not the main villain of this series. While I'm sure January and February are going to be chock full of Poppy content, I'm hoping I will finally be proven right with Huggy returning. That would be the cherry on the cake for Poppy theories for me. But more than that, I'm hoping Poppy stops teasing us and finally reveals her motives. And I also want to know if the staff truly are still alive in Playtime Co., either in doll or digital form like I've theorized. Of course, like every chapter so far, I'm sure we're going to have some huge twists and turns, and I bet we end up leaving the chapter with more questions than we went in. Again. But there is so much more than that coming next year. We still don't have a release date, but Little Nightmares 3 is coming sometime in 2025. While the trailers so far have been very different to what came before, I'm still holding out hope. I know some people are mixed on this one. Tarsier Studio are the geniuses behind Little Nightmares, and now the third game is being developed by a completely different studio. But I'm gonna give them a chance. Who knows, this could be a fantastic contender in the series, and I have personally enjoyed the marketing around the game quite a lot. But while some people are worried about Little Nightmares 3 now that Tarsier aren't developing it, those same people have something else to look forward to in 2025. Oh no, I connected Little Nightmares and REANIMAL again. I sure hope no smaller content creators have a meltdown about it. That's right, REANIMAL releases next year too. This might just be my most hotly anticipated game of 2025. Yes, it's from the original devs of Little Nightmares. Oops, connected them again. Tut tut, that's me on Santa's naughty list this year. But this genuinely looks like exactly what I want in a game. It looks weird, wonderful, messed up, creepy, and honestly, it looks like it makes no sense whatsoever. This game not only looks scarier than Little Nightmares, but it looks like it's going to be yet another game we can try and figure out together. Yes, this is one of those games that I am both excited to play, but equally as excited to make content for. These games are really kind of rare for me. There are a lot of games that I'm really excited for, but I can't really make theory content on. This time it's a brand new world for us to explore, brand new characters for us to meet, and brand new underpants for us to buy. It seems like the shackles are finally off for Tarsier now, and this is all just from the trailer. I cannot wait to see how creepy the actual game gets, and I cannot wait to bring you my things you might have missed video for it, because knowing Tarsier, there's going to be a lot of hidden details packed into this game. There are of course more games releasing that I'm personally interested in. Silent Hill is a franchise that I've loved since the second game, and I'm happy to see that finally making a return. Next year we'll hopefully see more of some of those games. Alien Isolation 2 is finally getting a sequel. Finally. I still had hair when I played the first one, so I hope we get to see something for that next year, and I'm absolutely sure there'll be some games that we haven't even heard of yet. Mascot horrors do have a tendency to spring up out of nowhere, and, well if not, I'm sure we will have like 10 Got on a Banban games. Next year, I'm going to try my best to increase the output of videos. This is something that I aimed for this year but failed. But I'm also looking for ways to increase my revenue, so hopefully I can finally get some help when I need it. Either way, 2025 is shaping up to be a great year for horror fans, and I do hope you'll join me for another year of horror theory content.
Ah, you see, many bright things in your future. How could anybody be miserable with such fun things to look forward to? Your lessons are complete. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel festive. But honestly, if you don't, I don't really give a shit. This stupid video's gone on far too long, mate. You're milking it. Wrap it up. He waffles, doesn't he? See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.
Wow, I really feel the Christmas spirit now. I'm no longer grumpy. It's a Christmas miracle. Maybe now that I'm full of Christmas cheer, I can finally find a girlfriend, settle down, have somebody to play co-op games with. Right, Santa? Okay, well luckily I still have all my friends. Luckily I still have all of my subscribers. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. I hope you have a great rest, eat lots of food, have a great time. But most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Goodbye. Psst. Come here. Come here. Come here. I'm not really Santa. I'm stealing his stuff. Yeah, the last guy put up a fight, but don't you worry. Presents of mine.
Santa, why is your sack moving?
Merry Christmas.